If you really look at it, Your Honor, she's really desperate for attention. Her boyfriend died, and now she's the grieving girlfriend.
Are you gonna do it tonight?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Maya Mystery here with another video for you today. So in today's video, I want to talk a bit about Michelle Carter. I'm sure you all know who she is. This case has been highly publicized and it's very controversial and actually quite groundbreaking in terms of the law. If you don't know about this case, it involves the death of Conrad Roy. Conrad Henry Roy III was an American who died by suicide at the age of 18 with encouragement from his long-distance girlfriend, 17-year-old Michelle Carter. The encouragement was done via text messages, and the case was the subject of a notable investigation and an involuntary manslaughter trial in Massachusetts. It was known as the texting suicide case. So Michelle met her 16-year-old future boyfriend Conrad Roy in Florida in 2012 while both of them had been visiting relatives. After they first met, they saw each other in person only a handful of times over the course of 2 years, even though they lived only about 35 miles away from each other in the Boston suburbs. They instead had this kind of internet text relationship. After learning that he was planning to kill himself, Michelle repeatedly discouraged him from attempting suicide in 2012 and 2014 and encouraged him to get professional help. However, her attitude changed in 2014 in July when she started thinking that it would be a good idea to help him die. So what was actually going on with Michelle Carter? Is Michelle Carter a psychopath, a sociopath? To be honest, I don't think so. I think Michelle Carter definitely can feel empathy. I think that she definitely realizes right from wrong. I think that she definitely cares about people. And I also think she did care about Conrad at the start, but I think it changed pretty quickly. Michelle demonstrated that in her life, she felt very left out. She felt like girls didn't meet up with her or didn't want to hang out with her. She had no friends. She felt probably quite invisible. This is what happens a lot of times too with children that start to develop these sort of behaviours such as her eating disorder behaviour. A lot of times that is because they're not getting the kind of attention or validation that they need. And Michelle Carter shows this a lot, in my opinion, in that she did demonstrate that she, felt left out in school, didn't have anyone to relate to her, didn't feel popular or seen. And I think that Michelle Carter found a way in Conrad to get herself seen. When it comes to Michelle, for me, I think she has what is known as histrionic personality disorder. It is one of the lesser known and definitely lesser talked about cluster B personality disorders. We hear a lot about ASPD, antisocial personality disorder. We hear a lot about narcissistic personality disorder. And we also hear quite a bit about borderline personality disorder. But we very rarely hear about histrionic personality disorder. And I think when assessing Michelle Carter's case, this is what speaks the most to me about what was wrong with this girl. And I'll explain a little bit now about what HPD is. So histrionic personality disorder is defined by the American Psychiatric Association as a personality disorder categorized by a pattern of excessive attention-seeking emotions, usually beginning early adulthood, including inappropriately seductive behaviour and an excessive need for approval. Histrionic people are lively, dramatic, vivacious, enthusiastic and flirtatious. HPD is diagnosed 4 times as frequently in women as in men and affects 2 to 3% of the general population and 10 to 15% in inpatient and outpatient mental health institutions. It lies in the dramatic cluster of personality disorders, and people with HPD have a high need for attention, make loud and inappropriate appearances, exaggerate their behaviours and emotions, and crave stimulation. So what's some of the symptoms of HPD and how do these apply to Michelle Carter? Well, the first one I want to talk about is excessive sensitivity to criticism or disapproval. Michelle Carter, it's an understatement to say that this was someone who was very sensitive to how other people perceived them. She constantly talked about how she felt she was left out from certain friend groups. She constantly talked about how she felt isolated, about how people didn't like her, even though no one else really noticed anything odd going on. Most people thought she was fine. She was even voted, most likely to brighten your day in her yearbook, which basically meant that she was well liked. But if you ask Michelle, everybody hates her. Nobody wants to hang out with her. She's a loner. She was very, very sensitive to how other people reacted to her, and maybe just a normal gesture of sorry, I'm busy could have been taken a complete wrong way with someone who thinks the way she does. And that's a clear symptom of something, not right down below, like beneath everything. And also it's a symptom of HPD. So another one that I wanted to talk about is the tendency to believe relationships are more intimate than they actually are. And Michelle really showed this after the death of Conrad. She behaved very inappropriately. She wanted to organise a charity event in her hometown, not in Conrad's hometown, but in her hometown. She wanted to take charge of this event and to talk openly about Conrad's suicide. She didn't ask the family really much about it, and I think I even heard somewhere that she didn't even ask them to attend it, or that they wanted to change it to their hometown and she didn't want to, something like that. And also in the documentary it did say as well that Michelle actually went into Conrad's room and wanted to take some of his stuff, which is very strange considering she's never met his parents. So this girl that they don't know wants to come and take their dead son's stuff. I don't know, that's like not being able to pick up on social clues. You should give his family time to grieve. This isn't all about you. So yeah, the belief that this, relationship was at that point where she said she would ring the family and console them to see if they were okay. They didn't really know who Michelle was. So that does show that she did believe that this relationship was more intimate, especially with Conrad's family, than what it really was. So the last one that I want to talk about is actually a very interesting one once it comes to the Michelle Carter case. So one of the symptoms of histrionic personality disorder is low tolerance or frustration for delayed gratification. And Michelle really did show this symptom when she texted Conrad and vented her frustrations over the fact that he had not yet killed himself. I can't paraphrase her right here because I don't know the exact words she said. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but it was something like, I can't believe you haven't done it yet, and you made me, worry about you, like, why haven't you done it? I thought you were serious. This shows a real sort of frustration and a delayed sort of gratification for what she believed was going to happen. Like, who would dare tell someone he's going to kill themselves? Oh, you haven't done it yet. You annoyed me because you haven't done it yet. Like, that's completely insane. So yeah, this is my verdict on Michelle. I do think that she's taken a lot of the hate for what happened, and I understand exactly why. I do also think that she was mentally ill, and I do think that she, was someone who had a lot of issues, and that the parents of Conrad Roy and Michelle Carter should have been more involved in their children's lives. He should have got more help than he did, in my honest opinion. And it shouldn't have been up to Michelle to counsel him. He should have been seeing proper people. And also for Michelle, I don't think that she's completely guilt-free in this just because she has her problems. I think that she definitely should be held responsible. Conrad Roy needed someone to tell him to get out of the car, that they love him and that he is a reason to live. And not doing that is the most sociopathic, horrible thing that anybody could ever do. In that moment where he rang her once he got out of the car, any normal person who claimed to love this person would tell him that he can get better, that he could move on. Please get out of the car. Please stay alive. But Michelle, she wanted to be Little Miss Sympathy in her high school. And unfortunately, this all came to an end the way that we know it is now. And it's horrible. I think that the parents should have been more involved in both these teenagers' lives. I think that Michelle should be held accountable for what she did, but she wasn't the only person who overlooked Conrad Roy. And I also think that she, definitely should be punished for the fact that she had a chance to save his life and spare the pain of everybody, and she didn't. So yeah, that's my take on Michelle Carter. Thank you guys for watching.